Saturday night, Marriott Hotel, suburban Baltimore. Last Dolphins team meeting before facing the Ravens. I want to see us respond when we don't have the lead, Miami coach Mike McDaniel's said. This is the National Football League. And believe me, fellas, there's nothing as good as silencing a crowd on the road when the clock hits 0 Sunday afternoon, halftime, M&T Bank Stadium, Baltimore. A pall over the locker room. McDaniel told his players to forget the scoreboard and just play, and whatever happens, happens, and he had faith in them to play great in the second half. Afterward, he told me he was concerned with what he saw in his players as major adversity struck. I thought our guys were defeated, and I understood why, McDaniel told me. They had high hopes for the game, and it wasn't starting out that way. Then the F-it play happened. This is a family website, and so McDaniel will have to leave a small bit to the imagination here. But the big play of Miami's ridiculous comeback, honestly, was called the F-it play. Midway through the fourth quarter, Miami was still down 14 and sputtering, Tua Tagovailoa going incomplete, with the clock under 8 minutes now, with a 3rd and 10 at the Baltimore 48-yard line. So we had a play ready, in case things weren't going right, or in case there were various frustrations, McDaniel said, an hour after the game, just outside the team bus waiting to take the team to the airport. We installed that play with the expletives that the quarterbacks knew as the F-it play. If we really needed to make something happen, that was the play we'd call. What the quarterback wants, the quarterback gets, especially when the quarterback is in the midst of the biggest hot streak of his young NFL life. Week 2, in the league where they play, for pay. Trey Lance out, Jimmy Garoppolo in. We lost our starting quarterback in the first quarter of Week 2, Kyle Shanahan told me on his drive home Sunday night. Incredibly sad for Trey, but the stars aligned for us to get Jimmy back, and now we need him. Still want to enforce the steady habits of Kyler Murray. Cards? The brightest new non-QB star in football plays for the Detroit Lions. It'll tell you why Amon-Ra St. Brown will have a championship on his shoulder for as long as he plays football. Should we really be surprised that Matt Ryan and the Colts still can't win in Jacksonville? The Giants and Daniel Jones are 2-0. The Bengals and Joe Burrow are 0-2. Who will be the first to report exclusively that Nathaniel Hackett will enroll in Coaching Mechanics 101 at Colorado Boulder this week? That is one messed up sideline, and the Broncos are lucky to be 1-1. 18 drives in 2 weeks, 2 touchdowns. Mike Evans, Marshawn Lattimore, Ravens Steelers. Need a panicky late safety to ensure it. Sean McVay, whatever he says to the press, has to be thinking, I never could have imagined this. Joe Flacco for governor of New Jersey. Nervous, Jacoby Brissett, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Russell Wilson, Ron Rivera. Very nervous, Matt Rule, Frank Reich, Jameis Winston, Bengals offensive line. Happy, the Dolphins, who don't often score 35 points in a half. At halftime, McDaniel said to me, I was focused on guys finishing the game the right way and to our standard. I wasn't thinking about anything but let's score on our next possession. Finally, early in the fourth quarter, some luck, the Ravens went for it up 35-21 with 9 minutes to go, 4th and 1 at the Miami 40. 2 former Patriots, Elandon Roberts and Trey Flowers, stoned Lamar Jackson on a run, and Miami got it back at its 41-yard line. On 3rd and 10, McDaniel decided to go for it. What did they have to lose? The design, 3 receivers left, Hill alone on the right, hoping Hill could get 2 steps on the corner. The cornerback, as it turned out, was an old pro, Marcus Peters. We had talked the night before at the quarterback meeting, McDaniel said. Tua knew he liked the opportunity there. He goes, yeah, 3rd and 12, 3rd and long. I really liked the F-it play because who wouldn't like Hill singled, with sort of passive safety help late, as it turned out, against any corner. In practice, McDaniel said, we didn't really execute it well. But give credit to Tua, he didn't blink. Interesting fourth quarter for the Dolphins. Duh, of course it would be, scoring 28 on a good team on the road. But there was another reason. The football world wondered if Tagovailoa would be cool connecting with a speed receiver deep downfield. On that play, Tagovailoa threw it 46 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, air yards, and modern football lingo, and that would be a trend in this quarter. For the first 3 quarters, Tagovailoa averaged 5.6 air yards per attempt, per next-gen stats. Fourth quarter, 11 yards. Next series, 3rd and 6 at the Miami 40-yard line. Were the Ravens feeling the heat of being on the field so much, running so much? Could this be a case of load management catching up with Baltimore, while the Dolphins, after practicing in the oppressive South Florida heat, still had something left? Again, an interesting perspective from next-gen stats. Baltimore's DBs ran a total of 6,131 yards in this game. That's the most yards any secondary has run in a game since the start of the 2021 season. And on this play, with Hill singled on the left side against rookie cornerback Jalen Armour-Davis, he blew past Armour-Davis, who looked like he thought he should have safety help. But no safety help was coming. I knew there was a potential there that they'd go 0-0 coverage, or blitzing and leaving the receivers all singled, so I wasn't totally surprised because the corner was playing flat-footed, thinking his rush was going to get home the 60-yard TD to Hill, tied it at 35. From there, Baltimore went ahead on a 51-yard field goal from Justin Tucker, and Miami took over at its 32 with 2:12 to go. Who would be surprised that the Dolphins would finish a 547-yard day with a Tua to Jalen Waddle 7-yard TD with 14 seconds left? Typically in the NFL, you have to learn hard lessons the bad way, McDaniel's said. I was proud they were able to learn a lesson of mental fortitude in a game where it got out of hand super quickly. Just play the 4 quarters and figure it out later, but this game was bigger than just that lesson. The outside noise in 2022 football is impossible to ignore, and Tagovailoa has been benched, booed, and questioned in his 29 months in Miami. He had to listen to the Deshaun Watson rumors last year, knowing his coach wanted to take a shot on Watson. Then he had to get used to a new coach who stressed with him over and over that he was the future. And now, after the first 2 weeks of this season, after going to 4-0 against New England and strafing Baltimore with a 6-touchdown game, maybe the world, and Tua himself, will finally believe the quarterback of the future in Miami is the quarterback of the present. What'd you say to Tua after the game? I said to McDaniel, the weight should be lifted off your shoulders, man. All you did was do exactly what we talked about. Hopefully at least for a week you can shut up all the people that you're trying not to listen to. I'm hoping Sundays feel different to him now. You need kind of a shock and awe moment for that to happen, throwing 4 touchdown passes against the Baltimore Ravens in 13 minutes. If that's not shock and awe, what is? In a cruel bit of I told you so fate, Kyle Shanahan can feel good about the controversial decision to backstop Trey Lance with Jimmy Garoppolo 3 weeks ago. Because Lance's first season as a starter lasted exactly 73 minutes, and now, again, this franchise will go as far as Garoppolo will take it. Lance will undergo surgery to repair a broken ankle and possible further damage to his right leg today in California. It's highly likely he'll be out till the 2023 offseason. I'm sorry is about all Shanahan could figure to say by the time he got to the injured Lance late in the first quarter against Seattle and Santa Clara. You were playing your ass off 90 minutes after the game. Shanahan, driving home, tried to be pragmatic about the constant in the 49ers world since Shanahan and GM John Lynch took over in 2017. 4 of our 6 years here we've lost the starting quarterback to injury, he said. I mean, you just deal with it. Our team really loves Trey. But these guys, they plan on winning games regardless of the obstacles. We'll be somber Monday morning, but this league doesn't wait for anybody. It's unbelievable, really, what's happened here. We've only played 2 years without a major quarterback injury. But really, this is the first time we've had a really good plan B. It's a long time since this franchise had a quarterback situation like this one, with 2 guys we know can win, probably back to Joe Montana and Steve Young. I'm not comparing these guys to Joe and Steve, but I'm talking about going into games now knowing we've still got a great chance. As much as Shanahan didn't want to just move on, he knows he's got to. Garoppolo, playing for the first time since January and since spring shoulder surgery, was an effective 13 of 21 for 154 yards, with a TD and no turnovers. The Niners entered the day 3-17 against Seattle in their last 20 meetings. Garoppolo piloted the team to a 24-7 edge over Seattle in his 47 minutes of play. He started 5 of 5 for 80 yards, including a zip 38-yard TD to tight end Ross Dwelly. Garoppolo's a metronome, you know exactly what you're getting with him, and if the Niners can stay relatively healthy on defense, they should be able to be strong playoff contenders again, even after the crushing news of Sunday. At 1-1, San Francisco has a chance to gain ground on the division in the next month. They're at Denver, home to the mysterious Rams, at 0-2 Carolina, at 0-2 Atlanta. Then the schedule gets tough. As for Lance, the reversal of fortune is shocking after an off-season of debate about whether he's ready to be the man for a playoff team. And he'll enter 2023, mostly the same way he entered 2022, with tremendous uncertainty. After starting one college season at the mid-major level at North Dakota State, he'll have made 4 NFL starts in 2 seasons. Shanahan will profess confidence in him, and it's likely he'll believe it. But Lance will still be a major question mark, and as for who will backstop him then, that's too far in the future to matter this morning. What matters now is a road trip this week to Denver, when another team won't care about San Francisco's woes. In the NFL, that's cruel reality. Veteran man up, in this case. Huge influencers on Sunday Football, cornerback Jamal Dean, in Tampa's bitterly fought 20-10 win in New Orleans, changed the game. While the Bucs get up to speed offensively, no sideline tablet is safe until the Bucs start averaging more than the 19.5 points a game they've put up in the first 2 weeks. They'll have to survive with a defense that's started red hot. Sunday's hero was Dean, the fourth-year corner whose 2 fourth-quarter interceptions led to 10 Tampa Bay points and broke open a 3-3 game. This was a slugfest, as usual, between 2 teams that hate each other the way the Steelers used to hate the Ravens back in the day. "Oh my God," Dean said from the Bucs locker room, "this is always a heavyweight fight." It really was a fight in the fourth quarter, when 3 plays before Dean's first pick, Tom Brady started jawing with Saints corner Marshawn Lattimore, shoving ensued, and Bucs receiver Mike Evans flew into the fray and blasted Lattimore. The outcome, not of the fight, but of the game, might have been bigger than just one game. Credit Jameis Winston for playing with 4 fractured back vertebrae, per Jay Glazer, but his play late isn't going to give the Saints the kind of confidence they'd like to have to dethrone Tampa in the NFC South. His 2 picks in the fourth quarter both came on the Bucs side of midfield. "That first one," said Dean of his end zone pick, "I knew I had to get it. If I don't, that could be a touchdown. I'd rather not give up a touchdown, understandable." Winston's got to avoid the turnovers if the Saints have a shot to play deep into January, and that's always been a challenge for him. For the Bucs, turnovers by Brady aren't the issue. The leaky offensive line is, and the schedule. Next for Tampa, Green Bay and Kansas City, both at home. Quarterback Trevor Lawrence, who led the Jags' stunning 24-0 shutout of Indianapolis, wasn't really the national story Sunday. The Colts' continuing and confounding incompetence in North Florida was. But Jacksonville, depending on the outcome of 0-1 Tennessee's game in Buffalo tonight, will exit Week 2 either alone or tied for first in the AFC South. And the continuing development of Lawrence, 25 of 30, 235 yards, 2 TDs, no turnovers, was a big reason why. "What's the throw you're most proud of today?" I asked him Sunday evening. He thought for a moment and said, "It was a simple one. I think it was just a 3 or 4 yard gain. But I chucked it out to James Robinson, maybe made it 2nd and 6 or whatever. Actually, it came on the first series of the third quarter. On 2nd and 12 from midfield, he dumped it to Robinson for a gain of 4. Then he threw an incompletion, and Jacksonville punted. That was a highlight play? Our plan was to take what the defense gave us, whether that's 5, 7 yards a throw, whatever it was," he said. "Really, we were able to do that the whole game and run the ball effectively and control the clock. I think that's just a good lesson in general for us moving forward. Instead of trying to force a ball in a tight window that wasn't really there and keeping my eyes downfield for too long and throwing it away, make the play that's there. That's the next step I've been trying to take, is just being really smart with the ball, knowing where my outlets are. Lawrence seems happier with Coach Doug Peterson than he was with the Urban Meyer regime. I think we're really similar personality-wise, he said. I've enjoyed getting to know him, and then on the football field he's a really smart coach. His approach is great, and it's been awesome for our team add in 2 strong edge players, Josh Allen and first overall pick Trayvon Walker, and Lawrence can afford to play patient and smart. He knows he won't have to score in the 30s to win most weeks. Wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown, with 116 yards receiving and 68 yards rushing, continued to make a huge mark on the NFL in Detroit's 36-27 win over Washington. A smooth route runner with excellent hands, St. Brown has the Justin Jefferson-like ability to find a way to be open enough. Even when the defense knows he's going to be targeted 10 or 12 times every game, he finds enough space to make play after play. In the last 8 Lions games, Detroit's a surprising 4-4, and look at the production St. Brown has in catches in those 8 games: 10, 8, 8, 9, 8, 8, 8, and 9 receptions. Talking to St. Brown, what I found interesting was how big a factor in his life the 2021 draft was. He's from Anaheim and went to USC, and he expected, and was told by NFL people, he'd likely be a day 2 pick. So he had a party with family and friends on Friday of draft weekend. The NFL had a camera there. But the day came and went, and St. Brown wasn't picked till round 4 on Saturday. Even today, talking to you, I still get really emotional just thinking about it, talking about it, St. Brown said from the Lions locker room. It was a day he'll never forget. But it changed who I am, the way I work, the way I see things. When I get tired in a workout, I won't quit, it'll do extra. When I think about that day, that flips the switch for me, and it makes me work harder and longer. On the way home that Friday night, I was crying. I got on the jugs machine late that night, Friday night in California. I got on the machine till I was exhausted, then I went to bed. At that point it was go time for me. I didn't care who picked me. I was just going to prove myself from that day on 19 games and 107 catches into his NFL career. He's off to a great start. A screed now on instant replay. I've always been a huge proponent of being able to correct obvious, clear and indisputable mistakes by officials on the field. But I'm really bothered by the current system of replay, because correcting obvious, clear and indisputable mistakes is not what the system does now. I think instant replay overreaches. If you have NFL Plus, you can judge 2 plays early in the season for yourself. That's how I looked at a catch by Detroit tight end T.J. Hockenson that was confirmed after review in Week 1 and an interception by Chargers cornerback Asante Samuel Jr. that was overturned in Week 2 after review. Hockenson, in the Philadelphia-Detroit game, dove for a Jared Goff pass on the last play of the 3rd quarter against Philadelphia. Replay showed the ball completely out of his hands as he fell earthward, and then he grabbed it and attempted to secure it as he hit the ground. The nose of the ball hit the turf, Hockenson hit the turf, his hands appeared to move down the football as he secured it on the ground. Coach Nick Sirianni challenged. The catch was confirmed by Walt Anderson in the New York Officiating Command Center. Samuel, in the Chargers-Kansas City game Thursday night, bobbled and lost and recaught an interception as he fell to the ground in the 3rd quarter. It was ruled an interception on the field. Replay showed the ball in Samuel's grasp as both the player and ball hit the ground, and it appeared the ball may have hit the ground and was not totally secure as it did so. Appeared being the operative word there. It did not look conclusive to me. The call was overturned by Anderson. I do not know how the Hockenson play stands and the Samuel play does not. That's the problem that I see. These 2 plays were tremendously similar. In each case, they're so close and could have been ruled either way on the field. In each case, I believe, each should have been upheld because they didn't pass the clear and obvious standard to be overturned. If you had 100 nonpartisan people watch the 2 plays, there is no way either would have been 100-0 to keep or overturn. and there's no way it would have been 90-10, and probably not even 80-20 either way. The NFL has lost its way on replay. As former Vice President of Officiating Mike Pereira, now a Fox Rules analyst, told me, we've been micromanaging replay for years, and this is what's resulted. We're reviewing and reversing plays where half the viewers would reverse and half wouldn't. We all knew that technology improved and clarity of the video improved, that we would overuse the system. So I'm not a fan of where we are on replay, nor am I still favor replay, used correctly, because we don't want games decided on egregiously incorrect calls. The league needs to refamiliarize itself, Anderson in particular, with the definition of clear, obvious, and indisputable, before it's too late and owners and coaches get fed up with a system that all too often is capricious. This season, FMIA has partnered with Next Gen Stats, the league's new generation of advanced metrics and statistics, with data collected from 250 tracking devices per game on players, officials, pylons, and footballs. Each week, it'll use NGS to help tell a deeper story or stories about the games that week.